Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael, and we return to Season 6 of Masks of Nyarlathotep in our traveling portion. At the top of the show, as we always like to do, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and you, the Patreon supporter. If you'd like to check out what we have to offer, you can at patreon.com/The Old Ways Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Old Ways Podcast. Help us make our march for 1,000 subscribers. And now I would like to let the cast introduce themselves. So to my right.
Hi, this is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and I have an ouchie.
Indeed you do. To Miss O'Shea's right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and I came out unscathed from our last battle.
Interesting. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, and I did not come out unscathed in any way, shape, or form.
No, sir. Perhaps that's why Miss Lane did. Interesting. To Mr. Doyle's right.
This is Lonnie, and I'm playing Robert Drummond, and I just realized how many years it's been since I've been on a transatlantic liner.
It has been a little time. Absolutely. And to Mr. Drummond's right.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tadenbach, and once again, I find myself on a boat on the ocean.
Yeah, these dang boats. They got to make some sort of long-range aerial contraption, perhaps, for you, Doctor. I don't know.
A large red dot that just sails me across from one place to another. So that's what I want.
We'll get it under advisement. We see what we can do. And last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex playing Sambaron, who will not be spending any more time gazing into the night sea, as you never really know what lurks beneath the surface.
Oh, I think some of you now have a better idea of what lurks beneath the surface. So we have a bit of a wrap-up from last season to get through. We want to reward our investigators for what they've done. Before we do so, because it is a new season and a new month for our recording schedule, we're going to offer our investigators a luck refresh. So we'll go back around the table here to Miss O'Shea, and we'll have her roll luck.
Okay. That's an 88 out of 45.
Okay. Fantastic. You may take 16 points of luck. Miss Lane?
I got a 15 out of 47.
Okay. You may take 10 points of luck. Mr. Doyle?
I got 67 over 5.
Ooh, fantastic. This is where that lucky feat is going to benefit big time.
Hopefully.
All right. So the extra D10. Ooh, yep, you bet. Take 25 points of luck.
Nice.
Wow.
Hey, now I have exactly 30.
It's funny how that works out. Mr. Drummond.
All right, this ought to be fun. I rolled a 10 out of 2.
Well, I am going to give you 19 points of luck. Doctor?
Alrighty, let me see here. I have got a 48. My luck is currently 63, and I rolled a 48.
Okay. So you can take 8 more points of luck.
Yippee!
And Sam?
That is a 66 over 60. Okay, nice. Okay, just line up those. Yeah, 66 over 60, so that's a fail.
It is. So for your luck refresh, I'm going to give you 15 points of luck.
I would love all of them.
You may take them. Lovingly so. Okay. So we need to put to rest China and the events therein when it comes to the rewards section. So this is the part where the investigators sort of get to sit back and collect their rewards. Things that will help soothe their mind because of all the things that they've done. So these rewards are for everyone as a group. They are sanity rewards. So they add to your collective sanity. Remember that you can't go beyond your maximum sanity. Those of you who are, delvers of mythos tomes have had their permanent sanity worn away by their Cthulhu mythos points. All right. If Ho Fang has been neutralized, grant each investigator 1d6 sanity points. I would say that with Miss Fairchild's actions, she clearly dealt with Ho Fang directly. And while she's not with us for this season, you will all benefit from her actions. And you may take 3 points of sanity. If the Order of the Bloated Woman has been broken up or eliminated, which I'm going to say it mostly has, as far as you're aware, you will benefit from 1d4 points of sanity recovery, which for all of you equals 3. Saving Magenta from certain death, which the characters did do, is going to net you another d4 of sanity back. A hard-fought d4, in my opinion, given what you went through. So it's 3 more points of sanity that you'll retain. So destroying or preventing the correct detonation of the rocket. 1d8 points of sanity. That is a major leg of this story. You will regain 6 points of sanity from that.
Thank you, Sam.
Yep, absolutely. That's the hard work. If Carl Sanford has been neutralized, grant each investigator 1d6 points of sanity. That is an objective you failed. And that is mostly because the doctor chose not to engage Sanford directly, which is likely an intelligence choice. Because any dude that can walk into a box and disappear in the universe is probably not somebody you want to mess with.
I would have died so bad.
Yep. So what I'm going to give you now is a collective boon for mythos monsters that were destroyed. So it's not a per monster reward. It's sort of a group. So you're going to get 1d6, 1d4, and 1d3, which isn't bad. All right. So collectively for the mobs that you dealt with along this chapter, the mythos monsters will net you 7 points of additional sanity back. If you're capped, you're capped. But I'm sure some of you are not.
Almost.
That being said, I think that's probably a fairly productive sanity reward for you. And so now we will move into investigator improvement, which I'm sure many of our investigators are very interested to get their hands on. We will begin at the first chair position, which is Miss O'Shea, and discuss skill improvement rolls.
Okay, my first one is singing. That's 74 out of 68.
Oh, okay. So that is a raise for you. And you may raise it 8 points.
The next one is climb. How am I going to make that roll again? 13 out of 20.
Congratulations.
Then fighting brawl. Nope, 25 out of 55.
You're technically a professional fighter.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Library use. That's a 56 out of 97.
Yeah, you've already gotten the sanity raise for it.
Okay, here's another one. Occult. It's a 58 out of 92. And my last one is spot hidden. 83 out of 75.
And that is 10 points of spot hidden.
Oh, nice.
Okay, fantastic. So that's Miss O'Shea. We'll move now to Miss Lane.
All right, my first one is art. And then I got of course, I have a 16 out of 25. I have dodge. I got a 17 out of 45. And then fast talk. I got a 41 out of 65. And then firearms. Right. I got a 71 out of 60.
And that is 6 more points in firearms.
And then first aid. I got a 65 out of 65.
Okay, so that's on the nose. There's no raise there.
Out of listen. I got an 18 out of 79. Persuade, I got a 71 out of 81. And then psychology, I got a 12 out of 10.
You can have 8 more points of psychology.
And then spot hidden, which, yeah. I got a 35 out of 88. And then psychometry, I got a 51 out of 50.
Oh, perfect. So you get a raise there. All right, 7 more points of psychometry.
Awesome. And that's it.
You need to touch more stuff.
Clearly.
Yeah, obviously.
Mr. Doyle.
Climb. 56 out of 43.
Okay. We're going to get people with that climb roll. 4 more points of climb for you.
Okay. Dodge. 19 out of 89. Fast talk. 4 out of 71. Fighting brawl. 73 out of 75. Handgun. 24 out of 84. Rifle. 72 out of 56.
Oh, good. You can take 6 more points to that.
First aid. 18 out of 31. Cantonese. 82 out of 11.
There we go. Let's raise your Cantonese by 6 more points.
The library use. 74 out of 75. Listen. 47 out of 47.
Ooh, that's tough.
Locksmith.
Can't blame that shit on roll 20.
Nope. 6 out of 74. Persuade. 58 out of 33.
There you go. You could use some more persuade,
Yeah.
and you're going to get 7 more points of it.
Most of my social skills are in intimidate. So
That doesn't shock me.
psychology. 51 out of 65. Stealth. 36 out of 82. Okay.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Mr. Drummond.
All right, we'll start with disguise. That was 41 out of 75, so I don't get anything for that.
Yep, that's nothing there.
Dodge. 98 over 40.
Hey, look at that. 10 more points to dodge.
Woo. Fast talk. 10 under 65. Fighting brawl. 47 out of 25.
There we go. That's 6 more points.
Firearms handgun. 46 out of 45.
That is 7 more points to handgun.
Library use. 20 out of 70. Listen. 95 out of 60.
And you can take 5 more points to that.
Natural world. 24 out of 10.
And 6 more points in natural world.
Occult. 16 out of 45. Spot hidden. 72 out of 55.
Ooh, another 10 for you, Mr. Drummond. Okay. Doctor.
All right. So my first one is Brawl. That is a 48 under 70. So not so much. So first aid, 51 under 68. So nothing there. Listen, 93 over 75.
You can take 9 more points of listen.
All right. Medicine. I got a 61 under 91. No surprise there. Psychology, 38 under 86. Not so much. Biology, 10 under 82. Pharmacy, 14 under 77. You know how I said that I liked real dice better because they were more kind. 52 under 80 for my spot, so nothing there. And lastly, 91 over 28 for my stealth.
Okay. You can take 7 more points of stealth, Doctor.
All right, I certainly will do that.
All righty. Sam, to round us out.
Been looking forward to this for a long time. So acting. That is a 4 under 77. Climb. That is a 91 over 76.
That is 6 more points for you, sir.
Nice. Disguise. Say 56 under 89. Dodge. That is a 2 under 79. Drive auto. That is a 100. That's a 100 over 61.
Definitely points there. Actually, it's a 100, so I'm going to give you max 10 points.
Oh, thank you. Fighting brawl. That is a 90 over 78.
Well, you get 10 more points of brawl, too.
All right, rifle shotgun. I'm just going to write this out. 34 under 74. Intimidate. 48 over 35. Hey.
Okay. 3 points there.
Let's get scarier. Jump. That is an 86 over 68.
You did some jumping last time. 9 more points of jump.
Just a tad. Listen. This is a 35 under 63. Locksmith. 89 over 67? Yeah, 67.
That's a 2.
69 locksmithing.
Nice.
Mechanical repair. This one came in handy last time. 55 under 63, but that's where it's staying. Occult. 77 over 30.
Okay. You can raise your occult by 8.
Psychology. 34 over 10.
Okay. And you get 4 more points of psychology.
Chemistry. 63 over 65. That's a no. That's a sad. It's a big sad. Why sleight of hand under sciences? That's interesting. 86 under 63 or over 63?
It's there because it's alphabetical order.
Oh, okay.
4 more points there.
Spot hidden 85 over 85.
You mean 85 on the dot?
85 of 85.
That sucks.
That's a 1. Stealth 90 over 95. Throw.
Here we go.
22 over 20. That was close. That's close.
22 over 20, but it's still a raise. So 6 more points of throw.
All right. And the last one is track. And that's a 42 under 76. So no. That is a success. So lots of good stuff.
Okay. So we are going to raise the curtain tonight. We'll say about a day or so after the events of Grey Dragon Island. The investigators have managed to secure transport from Shanghai all the way to Kenya via the SS Minerva, which is a passenger steamer that runs around the Indian Ocean. It goes to a couple of different ports along the way. And so upon booking passage, they understand that they're going to stop in Hong Kong, Singapore, and a few other places along the way. It will eventually reach Mombasa. It is believed about 3 weeks from the day you board. And that is weather dependent a little bit. This is a large vessel. This probably has a passenger complement in the maybe 300 to 400. So it is a very large ship. But its aim is to take along passengers and take along whatever goods and trade goods that can be plied for the company that owns it. You are able, through the financial benefits of either Miss Lane or the estate of Jackson Elias, you are able to afford yourselves first class berths, which give you sort of the same run of the top deck here. And while not as appointed as, say, some of the previous ships you've been on, it does have a fair amount of recreational activities, places for you to get food and drink, telegrams, that sort of thing. You have all those similar levers at your command with a first class ticket, which is likely why you book it. Whether it's assumed names or whether it's names on your passport you choose to exit on, that is a choice I'll leave to the players. It doesn't affect your ability to get out of Shanghai. The only thing that slows you down is, for probably the first 4 or 5 hours, is the city's continued upheaval and the understanding, Jack, that it looks like the crew is packing the ship at double time. They're trying to get out of the city. So we will resume with our investigators as the Minerva leaves port behind. You leave out with the tide, and you are afforded time to recuperate, which I know many of you need. But as we go through this traveling section on our way to Kenya, we're getting a chance to see the investigators together, and we're also going to get a chance to see them sort of on their own. And so what I want to do is get kind of a temperature test from everybody. I know that many of you are going to be healing from the events on the island, but some of you fared better than others. And that means that you're going to get an opportunity to get right to what you want to do. So I'll just go around the table and get a brief sort of paragraph of an idea of what you're after. So Miss Lane, we know you're healing up just fine, but before you, I want to ask Miss O'Shea, who maybe hasn't molted just yet, what are your plans sort of for this first few days in your state?
Well, since I have to heal, I do want to study the book, but I don't know if I have the capacity to concentrate. I guess that would be my question for that.
Yeah, I think you have the capacity to study.
Okay.
Even severely wounded as you were in the fight with Aubrey, you can rest and recuperate at a desk in a chair. It is likely that Jack or even the doctor would have asked for what we would call a bath chair for you, something with wheels that they would put patients in so that we would not have to walk and do the extra strain. So you can sit in that and recuperate in your stateroom, watch the ocean pass at day or night should you choose to, sit at the desk and read books. You're in a first class berth, which means you have the ability to have room service and have people bring you what you need. That is sort of one of the benefits. So you could be spending your first couple of nights sort of holed up in your own berth, recuperating, and then also working towards what you really want to do.
Yeah, that. Oh, and making sure, since I know we're headed back towards Kenya, to make sure that I strengthen my bond with Yig, whether that's singing or anything like that, because basically I'm going back home.
In a sense, yeah. I don't know that. I mean, it's up to you what you choose to do as far as your homages and your devotionals to Yig. I assume if you're going to stay within your own private space, you'll work that. We'll probably see that in the future scenes.
Yeah.
If your plan is to invest time into your own occultic studies, you may want to think about specifically what you're going after.
Mostly, I want to make sure that since everybody we've come up against seems to be even more powerful than the person we met before, I'm looking for things either to defend or to protect. Basically, I want to prepare for anything that can be thrown at us. Mostly like protection, defense, or something that can end our fight real quick.
Okay. Interesting. So I will turn to you now, Miss Lane.
Mm-hmm. All peppy and ready to go.
I know, right? Everybody else is passed out around you. Like, really? You just
got things to do.
Come on, party people. Let's go. You might even be feeling a little sequestered now. 3 weeks on another ship with a lot of your compatriots maybe not feeling as up to the social challenge, this would give you an opportunity to perhaps, investigate any other sort of social and or learning opportunities you have. You know that you're going to a country in Kenya that you do not speak the native language.
That is true.
I'm happy to take the skill ups and stuff like that you want to do. We can do that in a later time.
Okay.
I more want to get a feeling for what Lillian is doing in that time, what she's choosing, how she's choosing to spend those first couple of days.
I do have some things that I need to go over with Jack, but he is down for the count for a few days, so I will wait until he is feeling better. In the meantime, though, I do have a couple of telegrams to send. One to my mother and father, and then another to...
But you could potentially telegram Carlton Ramsey if
yes,
that's yours.
That's what I was looking to do. To find some information for me on, and I'm going to butcher the title of this book.
Okay.
It would be the history and dynasty of imperialism in America. I was trying to find my notes, and I'm like, oh.
The book's name is The Imperial Dynasty of America.
Also during that time, because it shouldn't take me long to send 2 telegrams, I'd like to find the ship's library and do some reading up on Kenya.
Okay, like historical.
Yep, I think that would be appropriate to get a feel for the culture and the people.
Yeah, so I won't dive too deeply in it, but I will say that there are a couple things that you would probably get directly off the top. The Kenya colony is part of the British Empire. Currency takes the form of the British pound. The law that's practiced there is virtually identical to that is in Britain, with the police and the courts operating in much the same way as they do at the heart of His Majesty's empire. Towns were developed with social divisions in mind. So there is very, very clear lines when it comes to who is allowed where based off of the color tone of their skin. There is a fair mix of societies there and peoples there. So people from, Asian countries, people from India. There's a lot of cross sections there that you're going to find. Indian settlers were used fairly frequently when it came to establishing the railroad there. And that railroad is the Ugandan Railway. And that runs from Mombasa to Lake Victoria. We'll just say that the first breadth of information that you get on Kenya, it's as described in the book that you read. I will note, written by likely a man from, Great Britain. It is revered as a place with a beauty and a wonder and natural resources that His Majesty's Empire is happy to have with under its purview. So that's what you're doing for the next, we'll say the first few days, is really just getting acquainted, sending some telegrams. Miss Lane, you get very acquainted with the ship itself and where things are at, because you're out moving about, unlike some other people might be.
Yeah, and I will make sure that my, friends get fed and check in on them.
You're going to feed your friends? That's nice of you.
I am. Well, I'll make sure that they're eating properly. I'm sorry. We're not going to starve you.
She said we, like she got on the ship and is now suddenly in charge. Yeah. So she's like every other white traveler out here.
I'm the captain now.
Basically. Okay, fair enough. We'll leave you there. Mr. Doyle, if you would, for me, give me an idea of how you spend your first couple of days.
Well, my first couple of days can be spent mostly in bed, healing. I do have to have a couple conversations, one with the doctor, and depending on how that goes, maybe with Sam.
Okay.
But those are easy conversations to have lying down.
Okay, so why don't we have that conversation with the doctor now?
Okay.
So at some point you're going to
well, I'm sure he's looking over us,
Yeah.
he's your personal physician.
Mhm.
So yeah, strike up the conversation as you like.
Hey, doctor, I got a favor to ask of you.
You are but worse, Jack. Turn this way and lift your arm a bit. Yeah, go on.
Ever since the Dark Mistress, I haven't been feeling right.
What seems to be his problem?
Well, I have this hunger, an overwhelming hunger to eat raw food.
You mean like, I noticed you had a certain amount of consumption for the fish, which is not unusual in many civilizations, many societies. It is not unusual to eat live, raw fish. However, is this just a food? Is it raw food that you are craving, Jack? And you can be honest with me.
I kind of had the same feelings with the those crabs we killed.
That you wanted to consume them.
And I've been drawn to the water. You know, the thing is, I kind of am worried that I've been contaminated.
Doc takes out some of his more, not advanced because there's his travel, but some of his more advanced medical assessing equipment that he doesn't just carry in the bag. Well, roll up your sleeve, Jack. And here. And we'll take a sample of your blood, yeah? And I'm quite certain I have a sample of your blood somewhere around here before the contamination. Doc looks at the semi-triage of his room.
Sigmund, you would be aware that there is a staff doctor here on the ship.
I will take a sample of your blood and I will begin doing some testing upon it and see if I can identify perhaps what the problem is. Jack, if you cannot help it, perhaps avoid the other doctor for now. I will approach him if I can help, yeah? But with your symptoms and with the symptoms of Miss O'Shea, what she is, the transformations that she is going through, we don't need to explain any more than we have to, Jack. Yeah, I don't need to tell you, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of worrying me.
I can see why. Also, I know you're going to be sleeping for off and on as you recover, and as well you should. If you listen to doctor's orders for once in your entire life, Jack. If this your permission, I may visit you in your dreams a moment or two. I just want to see if perhaps there is some contamination in another area that I can examine, yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
I like to be plain, Jack. I feel that with what we face, perhaps subterfuge does us ill, yeah? And we must be...
Yeah.
We must be clear with one another. We have been through much. And Doc stands up as quickly as he is able. On this world, we have gone through too much to not be transparent with one another. And I don't mean literally transparent, Jack. Don't become transparent because that would be disgusting. Doc. Now, I will do what I can, of course. Don't worry.
And could you have some medicine sent in?
For you?
From the bar.
Oh, of course. I will have medicine sent to your room, Jack. I will get you a prescription of my very own.
Fantastic. We'll leave the both of you right there. Mr. Drummond, your first couple of days, where are your focuses?
Well, my first couple of days would be focused on, I was a bit nicked up in all of the shenanigans. Then I would like to check in on Miss O'Shea for multiple reasons.
Okay.
Because she knows more than anyone what the hell is going on around here.
I think that's an interesting perspective, but we'll test that theory.
I need to know what's going on before we do anything.
Sure.
On our way to Africa. And she also has interests that overlap mine.
Very well.
Shall we say.
So you're going to pay her a visit? You're going to knock on her stateroom?
Yes.
Okay. The question, of course, is will Miss O'Shea answer her door?
Who is it?
Drummond.
Oh, come on in.
I will ease in. How are you feeling?
Like I was run over by a camel.
Okay. I don't quite know how to ask this, but, well, kind of from the moment that I met you folks at the terminal, we've kind of been on the run, and I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Everything.
Oh, that's a lot. Like, do you want to know particularly like why we're on the run or what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. We're on the run mostly because we've broken up multiple cults. Those cult peoples, it creates a vacuum. It also breeds resentment. We have to run to be ahead of the word getting to the other cults. What the cults are doing are bringing, well, what they want to do is basically bring a physical manifestation of a creature that wants to essentially consume the earth.
I wish I could say I was shocked about that, but I'm not. So my obvious question is what can I do to help?
We're always open for anybody that has any skills. I mean, what in particular, we don't know until we get there, unfortunately. All of us have different skills and different things, and it kind of depends what the fight brings. If there is a fight, if there's people we have to save.
Well, when I broke through that door in the bottom of the volcano, and I saw what you were fighting, and I saw what happened, I think it's both a bit unfair to you and also a bit foolish for only one person to have to deal with this end of it.
Sam has some spells too.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, I mean, he really focuses other areas. Like, he's sneakier than I am.
Well, I'm not exactly skilled in lots of things, but this is something that I do know a slight bit about. So I think my efforts would go best supporting your efforts.
So you're saying like you've studied the occult and other cults and things like that?
I have. I've done some spiritualist work. I've attended several lectures from Arthur Conan Doyle. I've attended seances. One didn't go well, shall we say.
Interesting. Okay. How many scary books have you read? Now, when I say scary, I mean like make your brain flip.
I haven't, actually.
Oh, shit. Okay. I don't know what books I still have that Sam doesn't have.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Noctic scripts you could start him with, or there's a fair amount of mythos tomes that you probably could point him towards that are shorter reads, that are things he could try to understand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, those are the ones that I would, like, the first couple I ever picked up that were, like, shorter, that, you know, seemed easier to understand. Well, I mean, that's relative because fast study and all, but...
Crystal clear, the books that Sam has are basically the only ones he can read because all he has is English and French.
Okay.
Like the Latin, there was one in Latin that you had that was relatively light, I believe. I don't remember what the titles are.
All that I speak is English and French, so...
Okay, so then what you need to do is you need to ask Sam if there are any of the books that he's done reading or study with him. Because all the books I have, this one's in Latin, this one's in, I don't even know yet. You know, I name off other languages, but...
Okay, thank you.
But also, if you guys have any questions, it's not like I'm trying to get rid of you. I just don't have any books in English. If you guys have any questions or don't understand how some of the metaphysics or whatever work, feel free to ask.
Yeah, that heavy S there is pretty prominent when she says some.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would tell you then I would definitely look at life as a god, especially if you want more of a grasp on some of the things that we're fighting, because Montgomery Crompton actually had an impact on one of the cults that we stopped. And then ask Sam what other books he has that you might benefit from. I would say look and see what cults are prominent in Kenya in particular. I think the Bloody Tongue was also in Kenya, but I know there's a couple in that book.
Okay, and he has those?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll wrap the two of you for a second here. And then what I'd like to get is an idea, Sam, in the first couple of days, how are you spending your first few days?
I think some quiet reflection would probably be part of it. I mean, Sam is feeling pretty good about the direction things are taking, even though things have gotten messy and there have been casualties. The mission seems certain, like the what we're meant to be doing kind of seems to kind of like be outlining itself, and that kind of cemented itself to me when I felt a certain kind of feline, I would say, touch in the final moments there. Now, it could have just been the adrenaline. It could have been the intensity of the situation, mountains exploding, just trauma. You see what you want to see. I felt a feline touch. So I would be contemplating, and this is something that we've never really talked about, because I've seen the ritual performed, and I have this spell, but I'm uncertain as to, I don't have a description of what's actually required to perform it. So I would need to know what I would need access to contact Bast if I wanted to. I'm assuming I need an effigy of some kind, and the only one I know of is in Jack's possession.
Let's see here.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, if that
even works, I don't know what the actual, but that's what I'd be thinking about, how to accomplish that. And if there's no way to do it while on the ship, then I would begin pursuing my interests.
I don't want to say that there's not necessarily no way to do it, because I don't know that there is or that there isn't.
Yeah, I just never asked for the description, so that's on me.
Costs you 5 POW.
Yep. That's the only thing I knew
and
about
a D6 sanity points. Casting time. Oh yeah, you bet. Got to risk that bout. Casting time is a D6 plus 4 rounds, which of course is sort of immaterial at this point. It can only be performed in sites associated with Bast's worship or areas where there is a high density of cats residing. Now,
okay.
Now you might not be, out of luck there, given a ship.
Yeah,
you may have to go corral some cats.
Okay.
The supplicant must smear themselves in perfume, then sing, dance, and drink wine until intoxicated. Oh, this is going to be fantastic. The ritual culminates with the sacrifice of a snake, preferably venomous, in front of an image of a statue of Bast, allowing the blood to fall into a copper bowl at the likeness's feet, ready for the goddess to consume upon her arrival. The chance of successfully contacting Bast is equal to half the caster's POW, reduced after paying 5 POW. If a hard POW roll succeeds, Bast or a feline herald contacts the caster after a few hours or days. Those who have mistreated a cat would do well never to cast this spell. Obviously, with any contact spell, they're under keeper's discretion, but I really love the idea. I like the imagery of Sam running around the ship trying to grab cats.
If I think it'll work, I mean, practical application of magic, you do what you got to do. It's that venomous snake I'm curious about.
I was just going to ask, how are you going to get that?
Just saying.
I know of one.
I know of one. Who killed Slander?
Oh, no. That would be so terrible. First of all, Slander's not.
Slander's safe. Slander's safe. Listeners, calm down, okay? The bag snake is fine.
There is at least a reasonable chance that some of the some of the cargo hold may have some things in it. There's
exotic creatures. Oh, I'm sure people are moving animals from the mainland. Absolutely. Okay. No, that's all right. That's fun. So that is likely. So as far as the effigy is concerned, that's when I was going to go to Jack, because I am not foolish enough to dare to do this on my own.
Well,
unsupervised.
I think that conversation may be best left for our next episode.
I understand.
And so I will just, as I always do, thank you for joining us for this episode of Masks of Nyarlathotep. We greatly appreciate listening ears, and we look forward to seeing how Season 6 evolves. Thank you and good night.